don't know. Well, it's hard to say what I dislike. Because I like city itself. Maybe I don't like some events or some people or something, I don't know, in politics, but I like city very much. From my childhood, I was dreaming to live in Vilnius. So I do. I never thought what I like about Vilnius. Being green, being small distances, being busy sometimes and being quiet if you need, having very different zones, post-Slovenian testament. I like everything in Vilnius actually. Well, initially, the starting from my point of view, the starting point was like 5 years ago when a national discussion about SUMP had started. So the main focus was on the biggest cities like Vilnius, Kaunas, Klaipėda, Šiauliai to have SUMP. So for me, the start was then, but actually it started like 1 year ago, or maybe 2 years ago, when Lithuania got possibility to finance SUMPs. And so the cities had started to prepare the programs and to look for the doers of SUMP, and so Vilnius did the same. Vilnius initially, what he did differently from other cities, they really have some working group containing politicians and city officers and some NGOs who are really in the process. So this group was operating already like year before actually they started to prepare SUMP. Well, it's not national, it's European support. Lithuania managed to get this financing role in the structural funds. So if you prepare SUMP, you get 85% of all the preparation costs, and when having this SUMP, you can apply to some implementation measures to be covered. So, but what country did, they prepared guidelines in Lithuanian. I won't make any comments, are they good or not, but that's what country did. And according to those guidelines, cities and towns are preparing SUMPs. So not that much about being very sustainable and conscious, but very much about having funds and possibility to finance some measures. Optimistic view has few alternatives or scenarios, and I think Vilnius can go in two directions, and both of them are really having already features at the moment. So it could become rather family cities with really super blocks and no transit and low speed and low emission zones and so on, or very fast and innovative city. So at the moment Vilnius has both features of the both. In terms of transport, depends on what direction city would go. If it's family city, it's non-motorized transport and less cars and less polluting cars and less motorized transport at all. If it's innovative city, it could be new public transport mode maybe, and autonomous cars and no traveling at all, teleportation, I don't know. So could be very different scenarios, but I hope city change in terms of mobility. I hope it change because it's the weakest point of Vilnius as capital. Mobility is not really good. The question is quite hard because politicians, that's why we are politicians. Their role is really changing time after time. And even if we kind of support the idea of sustainability and we want to be like pioneers in let's say post-Soviet countries with different solutions, when you come to really sharp questions like to forbid cars in the central part or something, when we start thinking about, but what would the drivers say, how would we survive, what to do, how to make them, I don't know, move by transit streets and so on. So politicians are not is not the strongest part of supporters in the Vilnius SUMP, but we are supportive. If you don't need to choose car or not car, they are very supportive. They are really invested into the cycling lanes, into new public transport fleet, and some other measures, pedestrianizing and for accessibility for disabled people. That's what don't really have a conflict with cars. They are very supportive. If the question is car or not car, then the role of politicians is really not predictable, let's say so. But in our SUMP committee, we have a vice mayor of the city. He is very active. And then in the council, there are quite a few politicians who are from environmental part or youngsters part. So we are very supportive as well. But we don't make solutions. It's not about Vilnius SUMP, maybe it's about general planning culture in Lithuania. I wake up in the morning and I know what I'm guilty. By the middle of the day, I know what I'm guilty for, and it happens every day. It doesn't matter what project you do, everyone is always unhappy about something. If you do some publicity and involve society, then somebody is not invited and he writing complaints. If you don't do it, then again somebody is not happy because why you don't discuss. If you draw the line, somebody is not happy because it must be strategical plan and you don't draw the lines. If you don't draw the lines and just describe conditions for something, then somebody else is not happy because you must draw the lines or calculate some numbers or cost benefit analysis. So you always are in the process of defending your behavior in this SUMP. So it's really exhausting experience, because normally in the let's say the plans who are more popular and more often happening in Lithuania, the procedures are quite clearly set. And this plan is really different because you want to communicate it a lot. You have Facebook, you have events, you have conferences, and that's why somebody is always not happy. If everyone is happy, then television is coming, and then again somebody is not happy. And again, if everything is happy, somebody thinks that we are responsible for climate change, and again and again and again. So what I basically do day after day is really convince myself not to skip this work and my team not to skip this work, and then communicate with all those unhappy stakeholders and third parts and television and Facebook fans and so on and so on. So it's really not a good experience and really demotivating everybody. I think the country is too young, democracy is too young for this planning culture to involve everybody. It's not really working in the way it should be. We don't have productive discussions. If we invite people to discuss a certain topic, like public transport, when we spend like 1 hour listening when trolleybuses fans are shouting on regular buses fans, and when some from passengers associations is shouting on everybody, and then drivers are shouting something else. We are not looking for solutions, just complaining and blaming me, for example, because of having these discussions. And so this planning culture is really hard for Lithuania, and I really envy sometimes for the cities who went just very basic way, like we have this small I don't know, poster about informing that SUMP is in the process, and not having any events and any public consultations. So I would like to have this too. Probably for those who are looking for advice, I would say really start and put even more effort than we did on having clear political support from the beginning. Go to the council, go to the different committees, meet mayor, meet different vice mayors, and be sure that if you are seeking for some model split, they are seeking the same. Because in the middle you might find out that while you are fighting against the cars, they are building new parking zones in the old town. So having good political, honest political support is crucial in SUMP.